the man who shines from within. Freedom from the Superman cape and the return to a whole human life. Introduction, a new conversation for men. All around us, men are living double lives. On the surface, they seem fine, working, paying bills, watching the game, sharing jokes with friends. But inside, there is exhaustion, restlessness, and sometimes quiet despair. How many times have you asked a man, "How are you?" only to hear the same two words, "I'm fine." Those two words are often a mask, a warning sign. This conversation is about pulling off that mask, setting down the heavy cape, and rediscovering the freedom of being a human being. Not just a human doing defined only by work, success, and productivity, but a whole man, strong and soft, tough and tender, courageous and compassionate. If you're listening for yourself or for a man you love, a son, a husband, a father, or a friend, this journey matters. Because healing one man often heals an entire family, and healing families changes communities. Why so many men are exhausted to the bone? Modern life has trained men to believe that their worth equals their work. From the moment boys are young, they hear messages like, "Be strong, don't cry, don't show weakness. Your value is in what you produce, how much money you make, how hard you work." By adulthood, those lessons create what we might call a performance-based life. Men are evaluated by themselves and by others on the size of their paycheck, the prestige of their title, the hours they put in, the strength they never show cracks in. But this life is unsustainable. It produces Superman capes that look impressive, but secretly choke the life out of the man wearing them. Exhaustion shows up in different ways. Silence, "I'm fine," becomes a reflex. Anger, the one emotion considered safe, so it's used to cover everything else. Numbing, endless scrolling, drinking, working out, or overworking just to avoid sitting still. Collapse, illness, burnout, or even suicidal thoughts. And yet, even in this exhaustion, men keep going because they think stopping, asking for help, or resting would mean they're failing as men. Beyond human doing, rediscovering human being. Imagine this. You are not your job. You are not your salary. You are not only the tasks you complete or the problems you solve. You are a human being worthy of love, rest, and joy simply because you exist. This idea is revolutionary for many men. It feels foreign, it feels soft, even dangerous. And yet, it is the key to living free. Because when your identity rests only in what you do, the day you can no longer do it, whether through age, injury, or circumstance, you collapse into despair. But when your identity rests in who you are free to adapt, grow, and love at every stage of life. Warrior and peacegiver, two halves that belong together. From ancient times, men have been celebrated as warriors, fighters, providers, protectors. Those qualities matter. They're still needed, but they are not the whole story. Inside every man is also the peacegiver, the nurturer, the lover, the friend. Society has told men that tenderness, tears, and empathy are weaknesses. But in reality, they are signs of wholeness. True strength is not the absence of softness. True strength is the ability to choose when to be strong and when to be tender. When men only live from the warrior side, they become rigid, angry, and emotionally distant. When they only live from the peacegiver side, they may lose direction or courage. The goal is not either or. The goal is integration. The shift from masculine only to comprehensive man. Let's compare two models. Masculine only man, comprehensive man, suppresses emotions to look strong, names and expresses emotions without shame, defines worth by work and provision, defines worth by being, love, and character, sees other men's success as threat, finds inspiration, and focuses on unique calling, feels fear but hides it, admits fear and chooses wisely, becomes a slave to thoughts and emotions, trains emotional discipline to navigate wisely. The comprehensive man is not less masculine. He is more whole. He can be a warrior when needed and a healer when needed. He can fight for his family and also apologize to his child. He can lift heavy loads at work and also carry tenderness home at night. Practical step: the 64 crayons of emotion. Think of emotions like a box of crayons. Many men grew up with only 8 colors: anger, happiness, frustration, pride, fear, shame, boredom, relief. Women often use a 64 crayon box, naming subtler shades like nostalgia, gratitude, serenity, awe, bittersweetness. The problem isn't that men don't feel those shades, they do. They just don't have the language. Exercise. Write down the 10 emotions you use most often. Add 10. You rarely use tenderness, awe, grief, empathy, delight, loneliness. For 1 week, every night, choose one new crayon and ask, when did I feel this today? How did I respond? How could I express it more honestly? This simple habit expands your emotional vocabulary and gives you freedom to paint your life with more colors. A signal, not a sentence. Anger is often seen as the one safe emotion for men. Crying feels weak. Fear feels embarrassing. Sadness feels unmanly. But anger looks tough. So anger becomes the universal cover. But anger is never the full story. Think of it like an earthquake. On the surface, you see buildings crack, that's the anger. But the real energy, the true cause, is deep underground at the epicenter. Beneath anger lives fear of rejection or failure, grief over loss or neglect, shame from never feeling enough, longing for approval or connection. When men only show the surface, families pay the price. Children learn to fear the outbursts. Partners walk on eggshells. And the man himself never gets to heal the wound at the core. The 90-second anger reset. Hand on chest. Ground yourself in your body. Name the feeling out loud. I feel anger. Beneath it, I also feel fear, sadness, loneliness. Box breathe. Inhale 6, hold 6. Exhale 6, hold 6. Step away if needed. Say, I need 15 minutes to calm down so I don't hurt you with my words. Let's finish after. This single practice can save marriages, protect children, and give men their dignity back. Conversation samples. To a partner, I'm angry right now, but underneath, I'm scared you don't respect me. Give me a little time to cool down, then I want to talk openly. Actually, to a child, I yelled earlier. That wasn't fair. I was angry, but really, I felt overwhelmed. I'm sorry. You matter more than my pride. To yourself, I'm not a bad man for feeling this. I'm a human, learning to handle pain better. Rest is a duty, not a luxury. Men often confuse sleep with rest. Sleep restores the body. Rest restores the soul. When men say, I'm tired, they don't mean I need 8 hours of sleep. They mean I need relief from pressure, from proving, from pretending. But culture teaches the opposite. No pain, no gain. Grind until you die. Work hard, play hard. These mantras sound heroic, but they destroy lives. If pain always equals gain, then more pain must mean more success. Yet the truth is the opposite. Chronic pain, ignored rest, and untreated exhaustion lead to collapse, not greatness. The 4R framework for rest. We introduced this briefly before. Let's expand it. Reflect. Journal the disappointments of today. Own your mistakes without judgment. Release. Consciously let go of toxic loops. Breathe them out. Reset. Choose one small act of repair for tomorrow. Rest. Enter sleep with a clear spirit, not just a tired body. Rest is not weakness. Rest is restoration. A man who refuses to rest is not stronger. He is closer to collapse. A practical checklist for rest. Block 2 30-minute do-nothing windows in your day. Create a rest corner. Chair, warm light, book, music. Make a family pact. When dad is resting, he's not lazy. He's recharging so he can love better. Redefine naps. Not guilt, but maintenance. Like oiling a machine, not shutting it down. Healing relationships, rituals that transform. Relationships are where men's inner battles spill out the most. But relationships can also become the place of healing if we create the right practices. Ritual 1, the silent eye contact. Sit knee to knee with your partner or child. Hold hands. Look into each other's eyes for 2 minutes in silence. No fixing, no talking, just presence. Often, fathers break down in tears first. That's not weakness. That's finally being human in front of the people who need it most. Ritual 2, the childhood photo. Both partners keep a photo of the other as a child. When conflict arises, look at that photo. Speak not to the angry adult in front of you, but to the child inside. This shifts anger to compassion instantly. Ritual 3, 3 healing sentences. I'm sorry for, name the action, without excuses. Tell me more. I'll just listen. We're on the same team. Let's face this problem together. These simple lines disarm defensiveness and reopen trust. A guide for women who love men. Many women sense the struggle in their husbands, sons, or brothers, but don't know how to reach them. Here are a few keys. Ask with intention. Instead of, how was your day? Try, how are you really? Hold his hands, look in his eyes. Don't rush. Don't change the weather. If he finally opens up, resist saying, it'll be fine. That dismisses his pain. Instead, affirm, that sounds heavy. I'm glad you told me. Plant seeds, not sermons. Share a short clip or quote with a gentle note. This touched me. Maybe it speaks to you too. Let him explore on his own. Affirm both strength and softness. I admire how you work hard, and I love that you also let yourself rest. Women hold immense power. A single moment of deep listening, a single affirmation at the right time can unlock years of silence in a man. Parenting sons in a changing world, raising boys has never been more complex. Past generations told them, man up, don't cry, be tough. But the result was generations of men cut off from their own hearts, repeating cycles of silence and anger. Today, boys face even greater pressures: social media, academic competition, economic uncertainty, and constant comparison. Many withdraw into screens, games, or apathy. Others erupt in anger because they don't know how else to express pain. The key is presence, not perfection. Parents don't have to solve everything, but they do have to show up. A new way to be present, honor their world. What feels small to you may feel enormous to them. If a video game loss crushes your son, don't dismiss it. Meet him where he island. Choose presence over lectures. Instead of scolding, sit quietly in the room. Say, I don't need you to talk. I just want to be near you. Presence is love. Bring other men in. If you can't always mentor, find uncles, coaches, or trusted men. Boys need a brotherhood to model manhood. Take one-on-one walks. Leave phones behind. The simple act of walking side by side opens space for honesty. The 30-day roadmap, from cape to whole human. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but in just 1 month, a man can start to shift his entire life. Week 1, awareness, naming. Practice the nightly 4R ritual. Build your 20 emotion list. Add new crayons. Take 1 nap, guilt-free. Week 2, anger, truth. Use the 90-second reset once this week. Have 1 I'll only listen conversation with your partner or child. Try the 2-minute silent eye contact ritual. Week 3, repair, boundaries. Offer 1 specific apology. Take 2 one-on-one walks with loved ones. Create 1 clear boundary. For example, no work emails after 9:30 p.m. Week 4, root, radiate. Write a letter to your 15-year-old self. Teach your child 1 breathing technique. Plan a retreat or men's group experience within the next 90 days. The toolbox, scripts, and practices. Practical tools matter. Here are ready-to-use lines and exercises. Responsible rest script. I'll finish this task by Friday. Right now, I need 30 minutes to recharge so I can give my best. De-escalation script. I'm too heated to talk kindly. Give me 15 minutes, I'll come back calm. Closed son script. I won't force you to talk, I just want to sit with you. One word is enough when you're ready. Box breathing. Inhale 4, hold 4. Exhale 4, hold 4. Do 4 rounds before replying to an emotional message. Courage to face fear and trauma. Fear isn't the enemy. Denial Island. When men hide fear, it festers into anger, control, or collapse. 5-question fear map. What am I actually afraid might happen? What evidence supports or contradicts it? What's the smallest step I can take today? Who can stand beside me, even for 10 minutes? What reward will remind me that courage is worth it? Trauma too must be faced. Many men carry father wounds, mother wounds, or ungrieved losses. They time travel into the present through overreactions, rage, or withdrawal. Healing doesn't erase the past, but it stops the past from ruining today. Gentle entry points into healing. Write a letter you'll never send to the person who hurt you. Join a safe men's group or retreat where honesty is welcome. Rewrite your story. I was abandoned. I'm learning to build secure bonds. The Comprehensive Man Manifesto. I am human before I'm a role. I respect fear and use it for wisdom. I treat rest as responsibility, not laziness. I name emotions so they don't rule me. I apologize and repair without shame. I choose healthy brotherhoods. I maintain my soul like I maintain my tools. I admire others but walk my own mission. I am strong and tender. I live from the good in my heart, not fear of judgment. Closing call to action. You don't need to become someone else. You only need to return. From doing to being. From hiding to healing. From silence to truth. Tonight, try the 4R. Tomorrow, try the 90-second reset. This weekend, take one intentional walk with someone you love. Small steps will create big freedom. If you're a woman listening, share this with the men in your life. If you're a man, take courage. You deserve rest, healing, and love. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And remember this, you're not tired of life. You're tired of not living. It's time to live. If you are listening right now, I want you to pause and let this sink in. Your life matters far beyond what you do. You are worthy, you are valuable, and you are allowed to rest, to feel, and to heal. But remember, change doesn't come from just listening. It comes from choosing. Choosing to put down the mask. Choosing to say, I'm not okay, and letting someone in. Choosing to rest, to reflect, to heal. That's what Awaken Greatness is all about. Not perfection, not endless hustle, but waking up the power already inside of you. The greatness is not something you chase, it's who you are when you live with honesty, courage, and love. If this message speaks to you, take one step today. Share this episode with a man you care about. Begin the 4R ritual tonight. Ask someone you love, how are you, really? And most importantly, commit to fighting for yourself the same way you fight for others. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to Awaken Greatness. Not for me, but for you. Every time you hit play, you're choosing growth over silence, healing over hiding, and freedom over fear. The world doesn't just need strong men, it needs whole men. Men who shine from within. And that journey starts with you, right here, right now.